Barriers to entry. The
to
tools.
starting a homestead.
The right tool for the right job. Hey, I'm Chris, and this is Danielle, and welcome to what is the making of the Split Hour Farm.
If you've been following our channel, you'll know that we recently moved to a 10-acre plot of land in the Northeast, and we're looking to start our own homestead. We came up from a tiny apartment, and then during everything in 2020 realized what we really wanted as our dreams and decided to make them happen, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing this year as well. So along this journey, we've learned so much, and we want to take you through what we think are our 5 biggest barriers into becoming a homestead and farm.
Barrier number 1, right tool for the right job.
I think that's actually Chris's favorite phrase.
It is. Also, what has put the biggest hurt on our wallet every time. There's definitely a right tool for every job, and that tool is going to save you time and cost you money, unfortunately. But it will equate to time savings equals more money made. So throughout our process,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think one example was we've been stuck with just a Jeep Wrangler and a Honda Civic, Honda, what kind of car is
HRV.
it? Honda HRV, so it's kind of like a mom car. But we have these 2 cars that are great, but you're just trying to get to point A to point B, but they're basically toys within a homestead or farm because there's like nothing we can do with them. The other day I was loading mulch into the back of my CRV, and we just had like a tarp, and it was laughable. And if we just had a pickup truck or something that could get a better towing, then we'd be able to accomplish so much more instead of making 1,000 trips in a mom car to a mulch to mulch an area.
Yeah, it definitely slows us down not having a pickup truck. Another thing is, so we just got a chainsaw. Previously, it was pretty much axe or saw, and that's that. That's all we have. So now the chainsaw makes it a lot quicker, obviously, to cut things down and cut them up into manageable pieces, so that we can then keep our fireplace reserves growing. What else?
I think there's countless things that
So
there's just you can use a more inefficient tool and
yeah,
get the job done, but it's not always going to be done perfect, and it's going to take so much more time. And as you're starting to build up your homestead, you're going to realize that time becomes really precious, especially when you have a full-time job and the sun is only out for so many hours, especially in this time of year where we have like from what I know it's like 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you're like getting in a few hours before work, really taking advantage of your weekends, and freezing your butt off in the process.
so that leads us to number 2, money. You obviously don't need money for happiness, and you don't need money for the tools because there are other ways to do it. But if you have some side dough saved, it'd be really usefully spent on some farming equipment if you're going to do a whole farm. And the equipment that you buy is definitely dependent on the size of your farm, what you're trying to do, and overall, yeah, just your objective. I would say one thing to take into consideration is you might want something, but then take like a step back and look at it again, and then take another step back and look at it again. Because I want everything in the world, and it's just, sometimes it's just not applicable. You know, like we have a small property, a UTV, excessive. It's a little too large for us, and it costs too much money. But maybe a smaller, tractor to do the grass, and that you could pull things around with. Maybe that would be beneficial to us. We still don't know.
Yeah, I think something too, you see a lot like what are the cheapest places to start a homestead? We live in the Northeast, which is not the most cost effective place to live, but we wanted to live close to our families, and that was really what was important to us. So it gets a lot more expensive to live here, and everything's going to be a little bit more, but we also want to have relationships with our families beyond just phone calls or yearly outings. So that was really important. And then it's like, how do you spend your money once you're there? Kind of figuring out, are you budgeting? Are you taking out credit card debt to pay for things? What do you need to buy? Are there things that you really want, but maybe you're only going to use them for one thing, then you can rent them? That's probably going to be a lot of help as well. And then also, I think something that we're starting to get into are figuring out, like, maybe people in the area, how can we meet them and kind of do exchanges where, like, you can have this for this, or we'll help you with this for this. I think that's something that's going to be really helpful. So you don't always need to own the item that you want, but like figuring out how you can still get it or rent it, do that work that you need to be done, and kind of save some money, because money is going to go fast. It goes so quickly. And if you're like us, I think one reason that we wanted to move to a homestead was because we wanted to not worry about money and be able to just live freely and live off the land and not have to go to the grocery store or be spending money all the time. And you do need to spend money to make money, or to get things accomplished at first, especially if you're new to an area, you don't know that many people first too. Like, we can't be borrowing from our parents or our family different tools. We have to purchase them or find someone to borrow them from.
The upfront cost is definitely there.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to buy a plot of land. So you're going to want to make sure that you at least have money to put down on that, and that you're smart about how you are buying that house. But probably not our story to tell, but money is definitely a huge barrier in becoming a homestead.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so, because you can just like live off the land, but and you can, if you just have unlimited time and are willing to really go slow. If you want to rush into this process and hit the ground running, you need some dough.
Number 3 is having the right equipment and the right knowledge. So this goes back to our first one, the right tool for the right job. But if you're looking to raise animals or livestock, then you need to make sure that you have the right equipment to do so. That could mean having a chicken coop, a fenced-in area for livestock, having barns, cages, watering troughs, food buckets, areas to keep your animals safe. I know we have a lot of coyotes, so making sure that they have a shelter that they can live in and feel safe in. And also having the knowledge for each animal. When we started, I think we were like, let's just get everything. Let's get a pig. Let's get this. But you're also dealing with live animals. And I think for all means, you should go out, test different things, see what you like, and learn it through the process. But you're dealing with live animals. You want to make sure that you're keeping them healthy, you're keeping them safe, and you're feeding them the right amounts. So I think starting off slow, getting one animal, making sure that you build it out for that, then moving on to the next one, and doing your research before. So watching YouTube videos like this, reading up about it, getting some books is going to be really key to making sure that you're successful.
Number 4, working the land. So you have all this land you just bought, and you're awesome, good to go. You're so excited. However, depending on if the previous owner actually took care of the land, there's probably a lot of work that you got to do. We really wanted to have woods, at least, to be able to walk the dogs. Go on walks through the trails, just enjoy nature in general from our own home. And well, when we got the property, you could barely walk through. It was nothing but thorn bushes and under
poison ivy.
Poison ivy. Oh my god!
Lots of poison ivy.
I've gotten poison ivy every week, I feel like, since we've been here. It's just, it doesn't even matter anymore. I don't pay attention to it. It's just a constant process. Luckily, she's not allergic to poison ivy, because our woods are filled with poison ivy, and it's everywhere. But if you want to actually clean out the woods and make them usable and create trails so you could have a nice environment to walk through, you got to bite the bullet and just pull them down and deal with it. So that's a lot. Also, our land is very bumpy. It's not a smooth. It's a big, beautiful field. However, it's just not smooth. So when it comes to cutting grass or something like that, you're going to be lopping off a lot of spots, and we have to definitely flatten it out and make sure that it's more so usable for when we do have our gardens. It's not a rocky bed. I don't even know.
A lot of our land is also sloped.
Yeah.
So we have some streams in the back, but that also lends us to some wetlands, which is fun to navigate, to say the least, and kind of figuring out how to work your land or make your land work for you, because I don't think everyone's going to buy something that was a farm before. You're probably getting something that was just like a normal lot, but you're turning into your desired homestead. So kind of making sure that you understand the land before you plan it out.
It's true.
And you ready for number 5?
Yes. What?
Okay, number 5. Probably the hardest struggle that we've had is rules, laws, and regulations. Every county, every city, every country, every state has completely different laws and regulations around homesteading and farming. When we moved to our county, they didn't even really know what homesteading was when we called them. So you have to teach a lot of people what it is, learn exactly what you want to be doing. In our county, we also wanted to be able to reproduce animals and become fully self-sufficient instead of having to buy different eggs all the time. So we really wanted a rooster. We really wanted to grow livestock. And with that, you have to be a regulated farm. So what does that mean? What do you have to do in order to get that? Who do you have to call? There's a lot of research, a lot of phone calls, and I feel like a lot of looping phone calls. We were talking to a lot of people.
It's definitely critical for you to, or important, beneficial, whatever you want to call it, for you to decide what you're actually trying to do with your land first. If you don't care about reproducing the animals and just want to buy chicks, go right ahead. In most places, if your area allows, you're good to go. Our area allows for us to, to obtain some egg layers and go that route of just producing the 5 regulated chickens. However, we wanted to have a larger scale operation over here for our home and our family. So definitely figure out if you want animals, if you want to just do agricultural improvements on your land, so you're producing your own vegetation and then you're going to the store for your meats. Like, that's great as well, but make sure to research what you want to do before you start chasing down the town or regulations for what you actually need to fulfill before you can start doing that process.
Definitely. That was a really good point, because I feel like we made a lot of phone calls, and at first we were confused at what we wanted, so then it confused the people that we were talking to. And then they always take notes on it, so they'll look back and be like, your lot, blah, blah, blah. You said this last time. So at least in our municipality, it's come back. So it's something you want to keep in mind of. But those are kind of our biggest barriers. I think as you begin this stretch into becoming a homestead, it's such an amazing journey and you're going to love it a lot. But really take advantage of Facebook groups, forums. A lot of free education is online. You can follow along our journey as we become a homestead, because we are going to show you all the behind the scenes, raw and dirty stuff, and also the really great stuff of becoming a farm.
Yeah. Feel free to leave a comment with a question if you want. And we probably made the mistake already, so if not, we will.
But that's it for today. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel if you want to follow along on the journey, as we do post every week some new and exciting items that we're working through, and we'd love to have you follow along.
Brainstorm sesh.
Brainstorming sesh. Okay.
All right.
So.